So what do we need to begin? Well, of course, the pattern, the copy of the pattern, and a pen, the pin, and of course the scale, very important one. I'm going to tell something about the scale, some scotch, and the rulers. That is all we need to begin. Of course, pattern paper, don't forget pattern paper, and beneath it you need something to put the pin in. So I have some wood beneath it, so I can put the pin very strongly so that it doesn't move. Well, I'm going to start with a shirt, this top. Yes, it has a front and it has a back, and you see that over there's a dart, and then over here for the bust there's a dart too. So I'm going to show you how to draw it and how do we control the back length and the waist, and of course the distance between the shoulder and your bust. So that are the very most important things to let the pattern fit. Okay, then the scale. You see in the scale numbers from 50 up to 140. That means, because we measure with our bust and our hip, this is a small number, so a small person. Alright, and 140, that is for men or women who has about size 50-52. That is the Dutch and Belgium sizes we normally use in pattern making. But here we take it in centimeters. So for example, for myself, I have a bust measurement from 19.6 and my hip is 100. So I am going to show you how to make this top with both sizes. Alright? Okay, when I begin, and when you begin, you search your own bust and hip measurement. So as I told, mine is 96, my bust, and my hip is 100. But it can be the other way around, or it can be 94 and 100. Or maybe your size is 108 and 114, or just the other way around. So choose your own bust and hip measurement and start with your bust. You put the pin in it. There's a small hole, you see. You put it in there. And then we put it in the cross of the pattern. Very important are the crosses. In each pattern, or beside each pattern, there's a cross. As we look in this pattern, you see the cross over here and the back side over there, and the other patterns in the sleeve in here. But if we look at the trousers, we have it in the pattern, but for the pocket the cross is under the pattern. So if you cut the patterns all around, in this case you have to cut the cross also. Alright? So now we start with the top. I begin at the back part. I measured my back length, and in the film you can see how I am doing it. Okay, so I will write down my sizes. My sizes are bust 96, my hip is 100, then my back length is 46. Alright, and my waist is 80. So with those two I'm going to draw my pattern, and these are the most important sizes to control. Alright, let's start. This is the pattern, the top I am going to draw. It's from supplement 298. And the pattern of the top is over here. I made a copy of it, and this is the small part of the back. Alright, I'm going to scotch it on the pattern paper, because when you are drawing it's not allowed that it's going to move. Alright? Then the scale. I start with 96. Alright? And as we look at the pattern, you see here the back side. You see here a little line, and that is the waistline. In this waistline there's always a point and a line and a number. Alright, and here in that point, in that dot, you start to draw, and then you go that way, because if you do it that way you see all the numbers where you have to go to. Okay, here I have my pattern. I put it into 96. Yes, and now I'm going to put it exactly in the middle of my pattern. So, okay, let's start. As I told you, the waistline, a dot, a line and a number. Okay? You can see that I put a pin in my wooden thing. I pushed it very well so I can turn my scale, my centimeter, freely over my whole pattern. So what to do next? We put this line exactly against the line where is the number 21 in this case, and I put a dot at 21. Alright? These numbers are for my hip, so I am going over that numbers, and then I'm going to the first number above the waistline, and that is 26. So I'm going to slide it. I push a little, and then I see 26, 24.5, very easy to do. You just have to follow the lines, the numbers, and put a dot at the number at the centimeter. Don't think, it's just simple. Lines and dots, that's all you have to do. And just slide slowly. So now I'm making the armhole. 12. And then we have 10. We slide up to 10 and put a dot at 10. And the last one, 13.5. That's over here. Alright? So now I put it all the dots of my upper side of the pattern with my bust measurement. Now I'm going to change because my hip is 100. So I put a pin into 100, and then again I'm do it in exactly the middle of the cross. And again push so you can pull a little. Alright? 21 I made with the bust measurements, and then all the numbers I'm going to do with the hip. So 37 is a hip size. 44.5 is a hip size. And the last one, again 44.5. Alright, so I'm done with putting the dots on the paper, so I'm finished. So I put this aside, and then I'm going to have my rulers. This one. Now I'm going to connect the dots. Very important is that you put them on the right way. Here we have the yellow thing where you can see how to put the rulers, and we see we have now a pattern for the top. So we have to put it in the armhole like this, and then for the neck part we take it like this. Alright, but I start here. Very important is that you have to connect always 3 points, 3 dots, and beginning with the oxhole. 1, 2, 3. These has to fit. Sometimes you can make one line, but most of all you have to fit this in one time. So you have to slide a little, so to find your own 3 points. And as you see, now I can make one line. Alright, so I do that. But important, 1, 2, 3. This one has to fit. If you have a very small bust measurement, for example 80 or 82, then sometimes you have to use this one if you can't make it with the rounding in this place. Alright? So you can see in your little illustration how you have to connect the dots. So straight is straight. Alright? And this is from the oxhole up to the waist, and then we go to the hip. So this one. Alright, so that is also very easy. So if you think this is a little bit difficult to do, just exercise a little bit with some other patterns. So draw some other patterns and just slide like you find your own armhole. And after 2-3 times you will find out how easy it is. Then the neck part. So also free this, but most of the times you can connect the fourth one too. Alright? Okay. Now the back part, the middle back part, I'm making in the middle a little stripe, a little line, so I can easily connect the dots. If you have a long ruler, then you can use that one, of course. Alright, well, this is the pattern, the basic pattern for the top I showed you. Now the waistline. You see that it begins in the dot at this place. We have a very nice equipment in the ruler, and the most important one is this one. That is to make a hook. And also with this hook you can find the straight of grain. Okay. The waistline is a hook on this place. So I put this on the back line. Yeah, so you can see the line through the hole. Alright, and then you connect the dot like this. Just slide a little until it reaches the dot. Alright. Okay. So next we see a dart over here, and you see that it begins in the cross. the dart is always like a hook on the waistline. So I can do the same, put the hole over the line, slide it to the cross, like this. Alright, then we can put a line, and then we also can read that it's about 32 centimeters. So from the cross up to 32 is over here. Alright? Then first I'm going to check if my back length is okay. I showed you in the movie how to make your how to take your measurements, is that the back length begins in the middle of your waist and then you go up to the middle of your shoulder. Alright, this smaller is not that wide, so the middle is about this. Okay, so let's check it. I measured myself and my back length is 46. So I'm going to measure how it is in this pattern. Alright, 45. Alright, so I miss 1 centimeter. How am I going to lengthen my back? So it has to be 46. The best place to shorten or to lengthen your pattern is at this point, just the middle of the cross. Then we have the same trick. Take the hole, put it on your back line and slide to the middle of the cross. Alright, so I have to lengthen 1 centimeter, so I write down 1 centimeter. So what I have to do is to cut this line and put it aside, right? And then you put it with 1 centimeter on your fabric and then you can cut your pattern.